Calling all cars, proceed directly to the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. The podcast that thinks light beer is for lightweights. He tried to learn to speak Braille. Medicare expert Doug Jones.
Well. Welcome to another bright, sunny day in Arizona and to another bright episode of the Medicare for the Lazy Man. This is our favorite thing to do every week is to help you feel more comfortable about the transition from Obamacare to Medicare, or maybe just to point and laugh at your device that plays your podcast episodes. I don't know what you're doing out there, but I can only assume that some of you in the audience are paying rapt attention and taking careful notes, and I'm hoping that we deliver something that you feel is worthy of note-taking today. As Drew McMillan announced, I am your Medicare expert, Doug Jones, and I'm here to pump you up with Medicare knowledge, to the extent possible. That may not be possible for everyone, but I can certainly share a modicum of knowledge in the short time that we take every few days, and I can offer you the opportunity to get a whole slug of Medicare knowledge by purchasing my book, Medicare for the Lazy Man, 2022 Simplest and Easiest Guide Ever. That book is on sale at Amazon.com. When you go to the sales page, you're going to find 4 different versions. You're going to find a hardcover book. You're going to find a paperback book. You're going to find a Kindle version, which is priced at $3.80. I can't go any lower than that. They won't let me. And you can also purchase the Audible version, which consists of me reading the book to you, turning the pages, making it so simple for you to acquire the Medicare knowledge that you'll never really feel as though there's been anything other than learning going on. You don't have to do any of the hard work of moving your eyeballs back and forth across the page. Anyway, welcome to the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast, and I'm going to ask Randy Carson to join us for a moment before we really get going today. Randy, how the heck are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling particularly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Well, I don't know about the bushy tail, but you look very bright-eyed from this perspective, so I'm happy to see it. Randy, I had to ask, go ahead. You were going to say something, Randy?
I was going to say, I just had my 17th cup of coffee, and I am feeling good.
Well, you're going to need a jackhammer to get the eyes closed again when it's time to go to bed, judging by the quantity of caffeine you've consumed. But I had a little conversation with Randy when we first started our recording today. I asked him if it was possible for me to do what I had in mind doing during this episode without screwing anything up. And he assured me that it was possible. And then, of course, my typical suspicious nature, I had to actually give it a try, and he was right. And so we're going to try an experiment today. I'm going to try to narrate the process that I use when I am selecting the most appropriate Medicare prescription drug plan for a client. And I've got a whole bunch of clients. Not all of them have me, my service for their prescription drug plan selection, but enough of them do that I feel responsible to help them in case they want to go to this process for themselves and learn how to do it, so that if their prescriptions change and they think there's another plan that's going to better serve them out there, then they'll be able to search it out for themselves. Now, they won't be able to change plans legally. In almost all cases, you've got one shot to change from your current drug plan to a new drug plan, and that would be starting October 15th, ending on December 7th of each year, and then your new drug plan would take effect January 1st. So that's called AEP, Annual Election Period, or some people call it open enrollment. But in the meantime, if you are able to do your own drug plan comparison and selection, you will be ready for the open enrollment, and you can call up your old Uncle Doug and say, hey, I want to switch from my current plan to this other plan that I discovered that actually is going to cost less money out of pocket. So here is what I do. I'm going to reenact the process of selecting the least costly drug plan. In every place in the United States, there are somewhere around 23 or 25 drug plans, and they are all different. They all have different costs, and it all depends on where you are, what drugs you take, and then where you like to have your drugs, your prescriptions filled. Those are the elements that decide which of these many plans is going to be the best for you. So I went to Medicare.gov, and I am right now on Medicare.gov/plan-compare. And we're looking at, they change this every once in a while. So the pictures that you have in my book are not completely accurate anymore, but you can kind of, once you get to this site, Medicare.gov/plan-compare, you're going to see, explore your Medicare coverage options. And then you're going to find a balding man with a big, thick mustache staring at you on that screen. That's how you're going to know you're in the right spot. And you go down to the lower right-hand corner of this screen, and you will see a sign, an instruction that says Find Medicare Health and Drug Plans. Well, your prescription drug plan falls into that category. And so what we want to do is, first of all, we want to enter the plan type. And I always say, out of all the choices they give me, I click on Drug Plan Part D, and then I click Apply, because I don't want to confuse the computer or the process. And so I'm keeping it clean. We're picking out a Part D prescription drug plan, and we're picking out the best one for an individual. How are we going to know it's the best? Because it's going to be the least costly out of all the available drug plans. So then I'm going to put in our zip code, and let me use a zip code in Illinois that I'm familiar with, and that is going to be 60174. And then I'm going to click on the button Start, and that's going to offer me the opportunity to pick which county I live in, either DuPage County or Kane County, Illinois. And I clicked on Kane County, Illinois, and now I can click on Start. Next screen that it goes to is Help with Your Costs. Do you get help with your costs from one of these programs? And the programs listed are Medicaid, Supplemental Security Income, Medicare Savings Program, extra help from Social Security. I'm not sure, which is not a program. It's just a choice that you can make if you want. And then the final one is the one I always pick because I want to keep it clean. As I said before, I don't want to muddy the waters. The final choice, the one I'm going to select, says I don't get help from any of these programs. So I'm clicking that, and then I'm going to go to Next. And then it says, tell us your search preferences. And you've got a yes or no question here. Do you want to see your drug costs when you compare plans? And now this would be where a person who doesn't take any medications at all would click on no. And then it kind of says, are you sure? And you click yes or whatever. But eventually it shows you all the drug plans lined up in order of cost, because I have many clients who don't take any drugs at all. So why would they want to get a drug plan, a prescription drug plan, if they don't take any drugs at all? The reason they would do that is because if they don't take a prescription drug plan when they're first eligible, and if time goes by and somewhere down the road, many years from now, maybe just a few months from now, but the odds are that within a few years, they're going to have to take a prescription medication on a regular basis, and they're going to want to get a prescription drug plan. Well, they'll have a monthly lifetime late enrollment penalty if they don't get their plan when they're first eligible. Now, that penalty starts out to be very benign. You can miss the deadline by a few months, and it will be very painless. You won't even notice the penalty. But as time goes by, that penalty grows and grows and grows. And so if you are missing your deadline by 1 year, if you wait 1 year for no good reason to enroll in a prescription drug plan, then your penalty will be something in excess of $4 a month for the rest of your life. If you wait 2 years without having other coverage that's considered creditable, then your penalty would be in excess of $8 per month the rest of your life. If you were to wait 3 years without enrolling in a prescription drug plan and then decide you wanted a prescription drug plan, your penalty would be in excess of $12 a month every month for the rest of your life. So I advise my clients, let's find the cheapest prescription drug plan available in your area, enroll in it now, even though you don't use any prescription drugs. And that way you will avoid the lifetime late enrollment penalty. And so that's when you would answer no. Do you want to see your drug costs? No, because you don't take any drugs. And it'll show you all the drug plans lined up in order from least expensive to most expensive. However, most people are taking some prescription medications, so I'm going to click yes. Do you want to see your drug costs when you compare plans? Yes, I do. And then it editorializes. It says, great. To see the drug costs, get ready to enter the name, dosage, quantity, and frequency for each drug you take regularly. So I'm going to click next. And then it says add prescription drug. There's a big rectangular field that allows me to add the name of a drug. And so I'm going to add something that many people take now that they didn't used to, but statin drugs are very, very popular for people to ward off heart problems. So the one I take is atorvastatin. So I'm going to type in atorvastatin. And if I could type better, I would have finished by now. So there are all kinds of statin drugs listed, but atorvastatin is on the pop-up menu. And I clicked on atorvastatin after having typed it in the field, and I'm going to click to the right where it says add drug. Now I've added the drug, and it's already pre-filled 40 milligram tablet, 45 per month. Every month is the typical prescription they think that I'm going to choose. But I'm going to change my dosage. I'm going to go to a 20 milligram tablets because I think that's what I take. And I'm going to, the quantity now changed to 30 every month. And I could change it to any number I want to. I could take, 6 of those pills a day and have, 360 pills a month. And then I could also say, I want this quantity every 2 months, every 3 months, every 6 months, or every 12 months. But for the purpose of doing this drug plan comparison, I always use 1 month. I do that with everybody because this weird little program that the U.S. government has us relying on is only good for now, which could be the middle of August, let's say, but it's not. It's almost the end of August. From the first of the following month, which would be, in this case, September, to the end of the year. It's going to show you what your out-of-pocket cost is going to be from now until the end of the year. But now isn't today. Now is the first of the month after this month is over. And so let's suppose that it's 4 months, September, October, November, December, and I put in 90 days supply. Well, it's going to show me 90 days supply starting September 1st, and then it's going to show me another 90 days supply starting December 1st. Well, that's going to throw off the calculations in my book. So I always use 30 days as my quantity, 30 pills per month, and the frequency is every month. So I'm going to say add it to my drug list. And then I would repeat that process for every drug I take. Some people take a whole lot of drugs. Some people take one, and many people take none. So in this case, I've got the one drug, atorvastatin, 20 milligram tablets, quantity 30 every month. And that's it for my drug selection process. So I'm going to say I am finished. And this uses poor English. This is your government at work. It says done adding drugs. But I was taught growing up in the Jones house that I'm finished adding drugs. Done applies to food. when a piece of food is being cooked and it's done, that means it's ready to be consumed. In this case, I am finished adding the drugs. I'm going to click on that box, and we go to another screen that says choose up to 5 pharmacies, because an important component of this whole process is where do you like to have your prescriptions filled. In my zip code, I have 60174. There's a box for that. Now there's a field that says name of pharmacy, and this is optional because you can scroll down at this point and look at all the pharmacies within a given range. It defaults to a distance of 5 miles from your zip code, and you can change that default to 25 miles if you want. Or you can change it to 1 mile. You can go 1, 5, 10, or 25 miles. So I'm going to leave it at the default 5 miles. And the first option that you can choose is always mail order pharmacy. And I always click that because, man, I'm a lazy bum and I like having stuff delivered to me. I don't want to have to go get it. So I always want mail order. And in real life, that's what I use with my prescription drug plan. I use the mail order option. But now I see many options of pharmacies located in the area of my zip code that I've given. The first one is Northwestern Medicine Convenient Care. And I believe that's an urgent care that also dispenses drugs. And Northwestern, it used to be our local hospital, Delnor Community Hospital, Delnor being the name of the woman who built many of the things in our wonderful town, Delora Norris. And her ancestors did 2 important things. They figured out how to sell barbed wire to Texas ranchers, and then they also the ancestor in question was the primary founding stockholder in the Texas company, which became Texaco. And so Delora Norris, when she was 13 years old, had most of the money in the world dropped on her shoulder because of the death of her ancestor. But that's a story for another time. So one of the things she did for our town was built a beautiful, beautiful hospital called Del Nor Hospital, because her name was Delora Norris. And then she passed on to some reward somewhere. And after she died, the towns around us got together and said, hey, let's build one big hospital. So they retained the name Del Nor Hospital. They added community hospital because of Geneva, Illinois. And we now have a big hospital out in the country west of town called Del Nor Community Hospital, and Northwestern Memorial Hospital from downtown Chicago just bought it. And so everything that used to be Del Nor is now Northwest Memorial. And so the convenient care that they have as the first pharmacy option is owned by them, but that's not a place I would ever go to get a prescription filled. The next one is a Walgreens, so we could click on that. The third one is an Osco Drugs, which are in jewel stores in our neck of the woods in Illinois. Costco Pharmacy, and let's click on Meyer Pharmacy. And that's all the blanks we have. You have the option of putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pharmacies for comparison purposes if you want. I used mail order for one of those options and then 4 different stores. And I said, okay, compare my costs for these locations that I can go get my prescriptions filled. So I want to know which one is going to be the best for me to use. And the best is always the cheapest, because what you're looking for here is a plan that costs you the least out of pocket, and that would be because they cover all your drugs. I've had some clients say, how come I don't want a more expensive plan in case I have to start taking a drug later on that, that the cheap plan doesn't cover? That's not the way to look at it. What you want is a plan that's going to cover all your drugs, and you're going to choose a drugstore at which the best deal can be had. You don't have to go to that drugstore. You can go anywhere you want to, but your drug plan will be most effective at the place where you will be, where you will have the best price for buying the list of drugs that you have. And also you want a plan that covers all of your drugs, which means it's going to be the cheapest. So that's why you're looking for the cheapest plan. The cheapest plan is always the best plan because it covers all of your drugs. Now I've got 23 drug plans lined up in order of their cost. Their cost for the rest of the year out of pocket to me. Each one is, the first one is the cheapest. The second one is the second cheapest. The third one is the third cheapest. And the 23rd one is the 23rd cheapest. But the comparison screen only allows me to choose two. So I'm going to click Add to Compare on the very first one, which is the SilverScript Smart RX plan. And then I'm going to click Add to Compare on the next one. And the next one is the WellCare Value Script plan. And then I'm going to click Add to Compare on the third one. And now I'm out of room. And that is a Clear Spring Health Premier RX plan. I'm going to click on the box to your right that says Compare. And lo and behold, on one screen, I see these three plans lined up side by side. The first thing they show me is the name of each plan. And then they show me the monthly premium for the first one, the cheapest one. It also happens to have the cheapest monthly premium, but that's not always the case. This monthly premium is $6.90, and that's what I would recommend for anybody who doesn't take any drugs at all. They can stop the process now because they know which drug plan to tell me to order for them. And that would be the SilverScript Smart RX. It's an Aetna product. Aetna purchased a company called SilverScript, and they have now got the least costly prescription drug plan on the market in this year, in 2022. WellCare Value Script is somewhat more expensive, and Clear Spring Health Premier is the third on the list of the three cheapest drug plans for you if all you take is atorvastatin. And so here's what I do. I go down, I scroll down where it lists the out-of-pocket costs that I'm going to face if I take atorvastatin and have all my prescriptions for the rest of the year filled at the various locations, the various pharmacy choices that I've made. So the first one I have is SilverScript Smart RX and mail order pharmacy. If I use their mail order pharmacy connected with this plan for all my prescriptions for atorvastatin for the balance of this year, then I'm going to be spending a total out of my pocket for insurance premium plus the copays for my drugs of $33.60. Now that's over a 4-month period. The insurance premium on this plan is $6.90 times 4 months. The mail order pharmacy will charge me a total of $33.60. So if you take $6.90 times 4, subtract it from $33.60, I think there's some room in there for a few dollars of plan or drug copays. Now, if I were to go to Meyer Pharmacy, it's even less. It's $31.60 is what I'm going to be paying for the 4 months for the balance of the year out of my pocket. That's insurance premium plus drug copays. If I go to Costco, which Costco has announced that they want to have a loss leader in the pharmacy business. So their cost is the lowest here, $31.36 for the 4 months remaining in this year. So that's if you only take atorvastatin and you only go to Costco, you're going to be spending a grand total of $31.36 for the balance of the year to have your prescription filled at Costco. If you go to Osco Drugs, $31.60. So those are all pretty close. $33.60, $31.60, $31.36, and $31.60. The outlier is Walgreens. Walgreens apparently does not have a contract with SilverScript Smart RX. So if I were to take my prescriptions to Walgreens to have them filled and I show them my SilverScript Smart RX card, I'm going to be paying a total of $699.56 if I have my atorvastatin prescriptions filled at Walgreens for the last 4 months of 2022. There's a big red X next to that in the printout results telling me stay away from Walgreens if my drug plan is the SilverScript Smart RX. So that's the least expensive plan. In spite of that $699 at Walgreens, all the other stores are really, really cheap. When I go to the second cheapest available plan, that's the WellCare Value Script, the monthly premium is $11.70. If I go to Walgreens, it's in the network for that plan, and my out-of-pocket expense for the balance of the year would be $46.80. In fact, it's $46.80 for every one of our choices. So that's going to be the insurance premium and probably just a little bit of copay each time you fill a prescription for the drug. I haven't done the math on this, so $11.70 is a monthly premium for the insurance, and there's probably, so that would be 44. Maybe that's it. Maybe none of these charge any copay for the drugs, but they're still not as inexpensive as the first plan, where most of the drugstores were charging you $31 and change. So you can pay $46.80 if you want to. Let's say that you want to go to Walgreens and you're not going to go anywhere else. Well, you're going to be much better off with plan number 2, the WellCare Value Script, because your cost at Walgreens is going to be $46.80 for the rest of this year. Whereas if you had the Silver Script Smart RX plan, then your cost would be almost $700 for the rest of the year for your atorvastatin prescriptions. Now let's go to the third drug plan. The third least expensive is the Clear Spring Health Premier, has a premium of $17.70 per month. And if you go to all of those stores, you're going to be over $100 just to fulfill your prescription of atorvastatin, with the exception of Osco. Osco is $74 and change, and then mail order is $76 and change. So that tells you that that's probably not a plan that's going to be your best bet. You go back to the WellCare Value, and everybody's charging you identical amounts, $46.80. And if you go further back to the least expensive of all plans available to you this year, it's going to be the Silver Script Smart RX from Aetna, and it's going to cost you $31 and change at every store but Walgreens. And that's how I do it. Now, if you don't have an agent that you love, like my clients love me, then you might click on a button under each plan that says enroll. Or you might click on a button that says plan details. Both of those buttons are there for each plan, and they would allow you to learn more about the enrollment and allow you to enroll directly with the company. And the reason I don't encourage that is because when you call me and I enroll you in that plan, I get a small pittance of a commission when you pay a premium. If you go to that, if you click on that enroll button and you're actually enrolling online, then their commission goes right back into the pocket of that insurance company, and I never see a dime. So that's why I enjoy my clients who do their own research online to find out exactly which plan is best for them. And then they call me and they say, hey, Doug, sign me up for the WellCare plan, or sign me up for the Humana Walmart plan, which doesn't force me to go to Walmart stores. So that's our little lesson for choosing the least expensive drug plan today. Randy's got his glasses on with the eyeballs painted on the glass. Obviously, I thought I heard snoring.
No, I wasn't snoring. That was just some of the pigeons, squeezing the line too hard. But I do. Every time you do this, Doug, I really value it, because I had a guy call me the other day. He claimed to be a brain surgeon, and he still couldn't figure this out. So every time you go through this, I always appreciate it, because every time I think I've got it down pat, no, I don't. So you know what I do? I call Doug and I say, help me, help me, help me.
Actually, what happens, I know in real life, I don't like liars, but I like Randy. And so when Randy lies to you, I feel compelled to set the record straight a little bit. What Randy does is he calls his wife. Every year when we're looking at the annual election period, which starts October 15th, Randy tells his wife, let's find out if there's a cheaper drug plan, because I don't trust Jones. He sold us this expensive one last year. And so Margaret, who has a real good grasp of this stuff, sits down at the computer and does exactly what I just did. Now, she does it much more quickly because she's not yakking at her audience, but she then contacts me and says, I went through the process. Here's my answer. Is it correct? And every year she's been right on the money. So it is not easy. It is certainly possible for a highly intelligent person like Margaret to get the grasp the nuances of this. And it's really easy even for people of average intelligence. But if you want to think like a government functionary, then it's going to make perfect sense. You'll be able to waltz right through this process.
Oh, absolutely. It will make perfect sense if you understand the government.
There you go.
You know, we all do that, right?
Oh God, yeah. We'd like to think that we operate on a higher plane, and sometimes we fail to. But it is a government creation, and it does have its shortcomings. I think it's gotten better over the years that I've been using it, but I really do like the fact that it allows me to pick out the best plan for my clients.
Yeah, and definitely, like Doug said, you know, even if you don't need it, get it now, because later on it's going to be a lot more expensive, and you'll wish you did it. It's definitely something you just want to go ahead, get the cheapest drug plan you can get, sign up, get on board, you know, hop on the bus and go for it.
There you go. Good advice, Randy. Good advice.
So we are coming down to the end.
I got to put salt in my water softener. Oh, for joy, for joy.
I know. So we need to sign off today because we have overspent. Well, I don't know. Did we overspend our budget today?
Today, this episode we did. Last episode we were right on the money, so that was good.
Yeah. So but this episode was critical for people, because the other thing I would mention is some people are computer phobic, and they think, oh my God, I don't want to do this because I'm going to break my computer, I'm going to screw something up, or, you know, the world's going to come to an end. None of that's going to happen. Just go in there and do it. Follow Doug's directions. You'll get from point A to point Z quicker than you think, and have the answer you were looking for.
On the other hand, if you want to be my client and you're really computer phobic and you don't want to do it yourself, then you've got to give me a list of your drugs and a list of the drug stores you like to go to, and then I will do it for you. Happily, I might add.
Yeah, and he will. So we need to sign off today. Thank you all very much for joining us. You could have been many other places, but you weren't. You were here with us on the podcast, the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. But again, I'm going to ask you, as I do often, write Doug any questions that we haven't touched on for a while, or to your recollection we haven't touched on at all. Write Doug and ask. He looks forward to it. He runs down to the mailbox every day, hoping for something, you know, like a decoder ring, something, and they're just often not there. So you can reach Doug at dbj@mlmmailbag.com. Please go to Amazon, buy his paper book. I can't talk today.
Yeah, but they knew what you meant. They knew exactly what you meant.
Paperback, the 2022 version with the green numbers on it, by several. You know, we're coming into the end of the year, and they make great, absolutely super Christmas sock stuffers. I need more coffee.
You do that and I'll finish up. I am your Medicare expert from Oklahoma. I can be reached at dbj@mlmmailbag.com. And he is Randy Carson, in need of more caffeine. And we are signing off for today, but we'll see you again real soon.
We are out of here.